ones now. Let's say, let me just go back to some of the simple ones. Okay, so let's say on this one right here, you don't like that background. You want a different background. You click on it and it automatically changes it. Okay? Now, if you want, but it didn't change it down in here if you noticed. But if you want to change that, what you do is you go in here and everything is pretty much like right click. Okay? You right click and it says apply current background. So if I hit that one, then now the background change. And every time you move over then, since there's no, it just keeps, it stays there. Okay? Now, there's another thing what is called movies. Now there's a bunch of these in here. Let's see. That one isn't doing anything. Let me get him. For example, this one's a great one for like 4th of July or something, you know. It's a one that, so there's a lot of different things that are really cool. Here's another one with the church on it. Doesn't look like that one doesn't do much of anything. See, you got different waterfalls. Let's see if I can click on it. Yeah. So you see waterfall, and I think I've got several. Let's see about this one. There's another waterfall, and there's a lot of different ones in here. I put nature in here, so you see the water moving in the background there. Same way. So just by clicking on it, it changes to the next one. Okay. And in this blue arrow is always the one that, and see here it says 1 to 72. So if you hit these arrows, it goes to the next set until you go through it. But this blue arrow here is to go through all the ones that's in the movie. Okay, so like I said, I put a lot of different ones in here. What's it called? Worship films. Let's see what that is. So I mean, there's just tons of different things in here that you can use. Now, when the blue goes away, of course, that you're at the end. So now you can go back. Next one is songs. And these are here, and you can get different songs. There's hymns here. I don't know which hymns you use. Here's some contemporary songs. These are all preloaded, but you can also put your own in there too. You know, if you got some favorite songs, contemporary songs that you guys like using. Do you guys have a blend here, or hymns and contemporary? Is that what you got? Okay. So let's say, for example, let me see if I pick one. Like All Hail King Jesus, okay? So if the person who's operating, click on that one, and then when you click on that, up comes the... So even though you're in this screen here, everything you're doing here is changing now, okay? But it's not changing your slide down here. Right. Because these can be slides that you make ahead of time from week to week, and you can even save these into a sequence or as a whole set, as a program. And then you can reuse them or go back and use some of them. But you can set up a whole Sunday for all the songs. So every song you're going to sing here, you can put across here ahead of time. Right. Or you can go up here and pick out one you want. Okay? Here's the one while your pastor is preaching, and let's say, let's see here. Let's say he's on John chapter 1. And so when you hit that, up comes the scripture. So when he's talking, you can on the fly bring up a scripture pretty quick.
That's gonna be hot.
Now he might have a set scriptures, but I know sometimes I think of another scripture and then you can bring that up fairly quick, because when you hear him say it, you just go and find it real quick, click on it, and it's there. Okay. So, and this is, you got different versions. You got a King James version, you got the NIV, New American Standard, New Revised Standard, New King James,
Amplified.
Amplified,
Yes.
English Standard. Never heard of that one before, and you can, and if it's
Yes,
not
we-
the one that you guys use, there's more Bibles. There's all kinds of different ones that you can use, so.
So, Ron, for a minute, just while you're there.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll start with a text, and if it's John chapter 1, verse 1 through 5, do you recommend that to make it easier for people that may follow along without having their material with them, start one verse at a time and just keep pushing in?
That's usually the best, but if you got to where you want to have a bigger, longer, you can.
Okay.
That's up to you, and that's where you put that down in here.
Okay.
This here is to help you bring up a scripture quickly. Yeah.
So if I'm preaching John chapter 1, and I'm talking, while I'm talking, and I make a parallel between John chapter 1, Genesis chapter 1, they just go in.
Go to Genesis real
Go to
quick.
Genesis real quick, chapter 1, it pops up there.
It pops up that way, and then what it does is this will be on here, but it doesn't change anything here. So if they want to do there and then want to go back to this,
John.
they're back down.
Okay.
Just by clicking.
And then it's what about
Jump back and forth.
What about, is there something in there that if I quote a scripture and just quote it and don't give where it's from, is there something that they can search?
I think there is, but that would be, in that particular case, you'll probably be a little bit further down before they might find it. So it doesn't really work in that way, Just make sure you give them all the scriptures you're going to preach about.
But I know sometimes you can be, I've seen people preaching and then the person may quote it without referencing the chapter and then it's up there.
Google.
I just
They
didn't
don't
know
have to
if
have
it's
the
in
internet
there
up.
where if they were thinking like that, they could do that. It is, but you're
Like a
just
It
saying.
is, but it
A
will
whole separate
probably
computer.
take longer. And a lot of the times when you see it, especially like on TV ministries that do that,
Editing.
they already pretty much know what was going to be said anyway,
Okay.
so they're pretty quick on that.
If you really so deep.
So I'm just, right now, just trying to go through all the things that's there. Here's another thing that's other, that you can add some things in there. This has some audio. I've never used this section here. They got audio, they got dictionary. So I don't really know, why you would really use a lot of that right there. But anyway, so you got images, you got movies, you got songs, you got Bibles, and so those are the things that you can use on the fly. Now to show you how you can make some slides, let me see. All right, let's say for a prayer request here. So we're going to go here. And so you want to just put a text in there. You click on the text. You see these are all the different things. You click on the text and hold it down and drag it over to that box. Okay, and it says HTML text. Then you do the same thing. You right click and slide edit, and out comes the editor. So then you just start to make edits. Let's see here. Okay, so there's your slide. Let me see here, I'm trying to. Okay, so now you can see where the different text is at. You go here, click on it, and then right click for edit. And now you can type in there whatever you would like. So this is prayer request. So you can put it like that, or and that's double space. You don't have to. You can put it so there it is. Now you can take these and you can, if you want to highlight it, and then you can make it to go centered if you want. And what you really have to do is, like I said, I'm going through this quickly, and it's gonna be hard. You gotta pretty much just go to it. If you know how to get there, then you just kind of mash on the different buttons and you'll find it. But here is where you highlight it, and that's where the text where you can change it. This is your alignment. You'll see it says alignment, so we can go ahead and put that in center. You can see it just made it to center. You can make it top, or you can center it so it's down here. You can, it says shadow.
Put that little.
You see how it's shadowing? See that? So there's a lot of different things you can do if you want to change the font size.
I'm talking about
See
font
what-
size and
Let's see.
fonts.
Okay, we'll go back.
Yeah. Comic Sans. I love that one. Georgia is good too. I like Marker Felt.
Okay, there we go.
Marker Felt.
So this is number of lines. This is actually the font size that you can use. Okay? And you'll notice if you're putting a lot of copy in here when it's going, it'll want to do something else, but you can adjust that. Yeah, so there's a lot of different things you can do.
We all gonna be in the booth. Pat's gonna be like, where everybody at?
And then you can
Be like, I have my slide. I made my
so
slide.
when you hit apply, close, then then all that is there. So, and then if you want to change, if you want to put a background here, then you go into images and say, hey, I want that background right here. And so you just, I think you can, no, we don't want to do that. So you can go here and you right click it and it says apply the current background, and now you have, it stays in there, stays in the slide.
And what program is that you're using? What
What's-
program is that?
The name of the program is called Presentation Manager.
Presentation manager. Okay, thank you.
And I think there is a tutorial in here where you can sit there and learn. And I think there's demos in there where you can kind of get an idea of what it is and tell you. I can probably find you a website where it probably has things on it as well. Basically, there's a lot of different things you can do here, and you just pretty much can just play around with it and figure out. What I did, they don't really actually even give you a book, and they've got, like I said, a tutorial. What I did is when I first got it, I just started pushing on it and moving over. That's how I learned the easy hands-on, and watch what it does. And when I see what it does, then it's fine. So while you're doing all that, when you open it up, you're going to go here to where it says build. Okay. And that's this is where you're at while you're putting everything together and you build it. Then when if you want to save it, you hit save, and then what it's going to do, it gives you a file, and this happens to be where I saved mine. So you can give it a date, so you can put the date that you're for that Sunday that you're using, put it on there. You can save it as a sequence playlist, or you can save it as a complete program. And so that way you can bring them up if you wanted to. If there's songs that you did for 1 week that you want to bring up 3 weeks later, you can go back and pull them up.
So
Yeah.
it's probably best to save it as a sequence playlist unless you know the whole order of the service.
Right.
Because once you render it,
Am I in the way?
But, so, I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do with this. Basically what I do is you just push on, this is a graphic tool, so you can bring in some graphics from whatever other things you want to do. Like if you're preaching on a series and you've got a certain type of background, you can bring that in here.
The waiting room syndrome.
So we could create them first.
Okay, questions?
you started to answer that point I was gonna ask. If you got an image or like a little movie skit thing, would you
I'll send you the link.
would you import it in there?
What do you have?
Just
You can make
like
a
for instance,
commercial.
like
Be
the
like,
church
did you
logo
miss last
or
week's
something
sermon?
like that. You
Girl,
know,
I heard
on
about
the
waiting
internet
room
or something,
syndrome. What did Pastor talk
Do you
about?
have to get like the, I think it's called a PDF file?
Yeah, let me see if I can figure out which, I might have to check at home and see what it was that I loaded the files that you can put on here. But I'm pretty certain it accepts the pretty like JPEG.
Oh, yeah, I got
and
some of
GIF
them.
and things like
Yeah.
that.
Right. Cause
It's real easy to
got
bring
some of
in,
them.
I think. Not sure if I'm gonna figure that out right now.
So only announcements can run through this program? Or can you actually do PowerPoint through the
That's
computer?
maybe.
PowerPoint.
So we have Microsoft in the,
Now, you do not have on this computer, you don't have to, you have to get the program.
And then we can
put
put it
in
on
there. If you have it already, you can load it onto this machine. It is already loaded on the machine, but it's not licensed.
okay.
You know, in this day and time, they load everything on there, but you have to pay for it. They don't, used to give it to you free, then they used to give it to you for maybe a year free, and then 3 months, now it's to the point where if you want it, you gotta buy it now.
Right,
You know,
okay.
so. But
But
it
it
is
is-
on there, if you just get get the code to pay for the key, you can go ahead and put it on there. But it's all loaded on the computer already.
Okay.
But, yeah, you can bring PowerPoint on here and put it into here. It's, not.
And at your church, do you pay for the copyright yearly?
Yeah, what we did is we bought a year license, that way we can copy, and it wasn't very expensive, I think we paid like $100 or
Depending on
something like
church
that.
size, right.
And then that way you can use you're covered to use, from the hymns or the songs or anything, you're all covered. The chances are, since you're just been in church, a lot of churches don't do it, but, and it's not a big deal, and they usually won't go after you but when you start, if you're gonna do like live
Videos
and
and
stuff, or streaming stuff, that will be seen out on the internet, and then you better have a license.
Right.
Yeah. And it's pretty safe to have a license.
Yeah,
That way,
it
and
is.
everything you do, you protect. It's different if it costs you, thousands of dollars, but when we're talking about,
Yeah.
$100, it's just not, Now, the way, with the screen here, I guess I put it back in there, it turns off, you have a remote control.
I saw that.
Yeah, and I guess I turn it on. You just point it up here and you can turn it on or off. And you want to turn it off, of course, when you're done, because of course it takes up the life of your your light, your lamp. This one here has a filter on it, or doesn't have a filter that you have to change. Because I didn't want to make it to where you guys have to keep going up in here. And the lamp is to, I think, like 6,000 hours or something, so it'll take you a long time before you burn that out, So,
Do you have an external hard drive and save it on there for?
no, what I use is this laptop. This is a pretty powerful one, and I use that because that's the one I use for streaming. And then what I do is I make the program here, and then I take it to the desktop at the church and plug it in with the program. Is that what you mean?
Okay.
That-
I was like gonna ask, cause when you putting a lot of, I'm trying to think of the right word to say. When you putting a lot of, like you gotta render it, and
Stuff.
you got a lot of stuff open and stuff like that, it slow the process down.
That's why on this, there isn't hardly anything in there. This is basically just for what
Right,
you're doing.
so I know, that's what I'm saying, I know
But
that's
even if you
clean.
put those files in there, that won't usually slow anything down, because then we're just bringing those files in there, not running in the background or anything. And that's why I would suggest not loading anything else
Anything
on
else.
here.
Right.
That way, it always runs smooth for you and everything. Now, this computer can be hooked to the internet, but it does not have an external where it can get Wi-Fi. And that's a protective way to do it. So if you ever want to actually get on the internet, you can plug into the back with an Ethernet. But one thing I would tell you is do not update to Windows 8 or Windows 10. Okay? Yeah, you don't want that for this here. And if you do it, it will give you problems.
No Windows 8, no Windows 10. God bless.
You got that
Our first
recorded?
church
You're all right.
No.
I mean, you won't be able to do it unless you guys hook up the internet anyway, but it's best that that doesn't.
Away from the
because
internet.
those programs interfere with, the same way with your projecting. You want something, you want that to continue to go move quickly, and you don't want a bunch of other things in there that could mess it up, so. Now, I'll give my number and you can leave, my telephone number in there. The only time I probably won't be able to answer would be on a Sunday morning, because I'm gonna be preaching. But other than that, if you guys got questions when you're doing it during the week or something, and I'm telling you, feel free to call me, on my cell, that's fine. If I'm in a situation where I can't answer, I'll call you back as soon as I can, but if otherwise, I'll answer, and if you have a question, I can help you, walk you through it, for anything. But what I really do, like I said, is just start putting on the buttons and start working that way. Now, when you close it out, now I'm gonna open it back up again. The icon you'll see is like an A icon. It's called Workspace Launcher. And you'll find it on this one because there's only like 3 icons on
Okay,
here.
cool.
Okay. So you double click or you click it and then you put launch. And of course you just size it bigger. Now, you're not in the production screen yet. It's up here where it says build, where it says layout. You're on live, you're in build out. You go ahead and build, and then that brings you all the other items.
Right.
Now,
So, let's say a Sunday morning, and we already did something like what you already had on there, and we just want to bring it up what we did. It'll automatically come up to the bill, and from the bill, we change it to.
So you mean like a sequence or that you laid out? Where you do is you go here and you says load. When you hit that, then it'll bring up that box.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. And this where it got all your playlists in there, and you just pick out which one it is you're gonna bring up. That's why I'd leave the playlist on here. That way you can bring up another one fairly easy, But in this area, when you hit build, this is where you do everything, and this is where you actually run that whole operation. Okay? Now, when you first open it up, you're gonna see the screen like this, and you're gonna see this one right here. Remember what I did? You click on it and just move it over, and you see here. Now, if you have a monitor, that'll be fine. If you want me to get a second monitor, that's up to you guys. If otherwise, when you move this over, that's what you're gonna see up here. And then from back there, you can see it, and you just put your arrow over that to make it bigger, to fill up the whole space, because you want that to fill up that whole screen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So. And actually, I'm not gonna try to adjust that screen today. I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna wait until I put the projector up. Or I might try to see if I can bring it back
Well,
down.
that way you can see how it looks.
Yeah,
on the screen.
yeah.
So can you do me a favor?
What's that?
Before you leave, can you run something so we'll see how it just looks
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, the only thing, like I said, that
That's
curtain
right.
does not do,
Right.
doesn't do too well.
Just-
Okay, let me, if you wanna just stay here, I'll run back there. I don't like to do that. I'll go ahead and plug that up.
We have a desktop back there. This is our screen.
Yeah.
There's a desktop back there. Budget, we have to wait for the screen.
You already doing.
I need $18,000.
But so we just need another monitor?
Yeah. I got the cord and all that for it.
It's one over there.
Will it work?
It was the one that was supposed to go
Yeah,
there.
that's what Kerry gave us. If it worked, then yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Go get that.
Go get that. You need a laptop?
We have a desktop.
Oh, I was gonna, well,
Yeah.
cause I was gonna say I got an extra one out.
No, it has to be a clear one with nothing down on it. So that's why he bought a business desktop. It's empty, that's back there. See that right there is gonna be back there.
Okay.
This is ours.
I was thinking, like, just to keep it clear like that, like the pictures and stuff that we would get, like, for the series. and
Without it
stuff,
being
we
up
can
there.
put all of that on the external
Yeah.
hard drive, and then just plug it in and pull it off and put it, build it in the whatever.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. Look at Lady Grady. She stood up with it.
So I was wondering, do me a favor, go stand up there like the choir's up there. Yeah, you go. You're the youngest. That's what I'm saying.
They don't stand up there. They stand down a step.
Second.
We're growing, guys. They stand down on the second step.
They right there.
So it's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, that's
Well, to be honest with you, we ain't got that many tenors anyway.
We ain't got.
Well, I'm
They
just
ain't gonna
saying,
stand up
like,
there.
based on that road, if people were standing across like they were yesterday, I was wondering even yesterday how it looked with the praise team standing. It's still big enough where it wouldn't be too bad.
Right,
Yeah.
the light is high enough, so they'd have to get, you saw where he was pretty high before he even interfered with the,
And the words would be,
so.
Yeah, that is pretty high. So the
Our
second
screen
row,
gonna be that big?
on the second row seat.
Our screen gonna be that big. The screen gonna be that big. Jesus, that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
So that the bodies will just be blocking.
That's
And then they'll be standing. Most people will be standing. So it's good. No disrespect.
Turn the light on, Nick, the first two. Turn the
you my
light.
wife.
No, but there they go right there.
I thought the
We
lights
don't
was
turn
on.
these on. Turn those on, Dora. Don't do the flood. Do the other one.
Yeah, so you can still see it.
You can
With
still
the
see.
white screen, it'll stand out even more.
Floodlights what did it.
Yeah, turn on the floodlight.
first row, he
The
told
other
them
one,
don't
and
turn
you'll see
on, 'cause
what.
What about them? What about them?
No,
Two
turn
lights
back
right
on. Turn all of them on.
Them two
All
lights right there.
on.
Wait to the back.
Whoa.
See where the floodlight kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, you still see it, but the floodlight kind of.
What if you do a black background with white
With the
writing?
floodlights off, all the other lights are fine.
What if you had a darker background with light?
They're still letting those dry. They haven't changed them yet. And there's two back here that they need to fix. So.
But with the floodlight off, you got, well, turn the floodlight off and let's see, I don't think those are
That one,
reflected
yeah.
off. No, they don't. And you could even turn these lights here won't interfere either.
And then the white screen is still there. The white screen.
The white has the screens have that reflector thing in there, so it makes it even brighter.
I'm gonna stop recording.